is this the sweetest spot that you have been in the last maybe 4 or 5 years or multiple quarters? Because as I look around, U.S. economy looking strong, the ban on the Chinese goods from Xinjiang, Europe doing the GSP plus removal for Pakistan, multiple things falling into place.
Interesting times. Wouldn't say sweetest point right now, but yes, of course, in the terms of the dynamics, yes. Definitely the China plus strategy that is a de-risking strategy that the world is looking at. The whole homebody economy that actually has come to a rise globally, where people are staying more at home, they're working from home. So as a result, home comes into a very great prominence, which wasn't earlier. And of course, the biggest one is thanks to the government of India to support the whole textile business. The RSTCL has definitely been an upside that actually has given a real new life to the whole textile business altogether in the country, because we will see a great impetus, great incentive for a lot of people to invest in the country. A lot of more manufacturing units will come into play. And India is the epicenter. And I will say India will be shining again in the terms of its visibility, because it's the biggest producer of cotton, apart from being the biggest exporter of cotton as well.
Okay, so could you talk about that point, because not just the point that you mentioned from the government as being the only point from the government side, but as I saw, unless I'm very wrong, the removal of the anti-dumping duty on VSF that was announced by Smriti Irani, I think day before, or on PAT as well, the moves from the government side seem to be fairly encouraging. What's the impact of each of these, so to say?
I'll tell you one thing, cotton definitely, as we spoke about, and the cotton, India is, actually originally a cotton growing country, and globally, India is very strong in the cotton products. And that's where our strengths lie in the terms of home textiles. While you talk about the VSF and the other man-made fibers, I think government is working on a few interesting, ideas, incentives for the industry. So I think that will come through. So I think it's too early for me to talk about it, but definitely that would be a very interesting part to see what's going to happen there for sure. Definitely, there's a great impetus to see India grow in this sphere, for example, because I think when I see Bangladesh, I see Pakistan, I see Vietnam, and of course China, I think it is going to strengthen India's competitive position globally as well.
Well, you have been around for a while, and I think for the longest time, the conversation was that countries like Bangladesh and Vietnam have overtaken India to a great extent on the textile front. But it's a very important sector because it generates employment in a large way, right? My question to you is, in the current scheme of things, are you seeing both, one, the support from the government side that you just mentioned, and conversations with your global clients who might be wanting to do more business with India as a destination and maybe you as a company?
Definitely, of course, the support from from Indian government has been tremendous in the terms of supporting textile. So definitely, that's again one impetus. But I think India is in the position where everybody's looking at us globally. Our retailers are definitely looking at us. I think India definitely, and it's not just Welspun. Welspun definitely is also getting that position as well from all our global retailers. But I think globally, I think India definitely is in that position. I would just say that.
Okay. Can I try and address that via maybe talking a bit about numbers, not specifics really, but when I just look at Q1, for example, for you, right? Great volume growth across all three segments. And I agree that maybe there was a base effect in play as well for Q1 last year. But based on what the numbers, the absolute numbers that you've done, not the percentage gains, do you reckon that for the next few quarters, as things stand, if indeed things are looking so strong, that these numbers are not a one-off and you might actually be able to improve upon these as times go by?
I'll tell you one thing, consistently, we have committed that this year is going to be a consistent performance of the numbers that you saw this quarter, maybe a little bit better. And of course, our mix that we have, it's not about home textiles. Home textiles definitely grew year on year by 53%. that continues to grow strong as well. But you must also know about our mix that we have in the terms of new businesses, like the emerging businesses, that actually contributed around 21% to our top line. And they'll continue to grow because they're still evolving. For example, when I talk about the flooring business that we have, that did a turnover of around 121 crores this quarter, and which definitely is in its infancy, which in its fully blown, in the next couple of years will do around 2,500 crores or more. You have advanced textile, which is our non-woven business, which does our wet wipes, the needle punch, that actually is a kind of which supplies to our the whole automobile sector. So definitely there's again a very important, interesting aspect there too. So when that also evolves and a project has been completed, is going to be completed by December there. So when that also grows, it will have contribute around 800 crores to the top line as well. So definitely apart from, and then of course, I mean, I can't forget my domestic retail business, where Welspun, which is Harkar Welspun, and Spaces, and our brand Christie in UK, which is strongly becoming our digital brand. And of course, our licensed brands in America, Martha Stewart and Scott Living, and our D2C play in the United States of America as well. So definitely these are also going to be a very integral part of contributing to our top line and the way forward. Because I always say that Welspun India is not just a manufacturer of textiles, I think, and I maintain that. I say that, as we go forward, we are going to be a home solutions company, and we are becoming that, where 60 to 70% of the products in the home are going to come from us, which is towel, sheets, rugs, bedding, and carpets, and flooring at that now. So definitely that is going to be a very important part. And of course, we are a farm to shelf company, where we actually not just supply goods to the customers, we do a complete entire 360-degree service, from predictive analytics to servicing our customers from a warehouse in the United States of America, UK, Germany, and of course India, whether it's D2C, pick and pack, or pallet in and pallet out. And we're also doing vendor managed inventories for a few customers as well.
Okay. So the numbers are pretty interesting, right? If you're talking about the flooring business, for example, from an annualized, I'm just simply multiplying it by 4, annualized 500 crores to a number that I think I heard you say 2,500 crores in 2 years. That's a quantum leap in the kind of numbers that a flooring business, of course, at in nascency could show. Are you expecting that to happen for some of the other nascent businesses as well? And therefore, what's the proportion of the emerging businesses to the total pie that you envisage, let's say, 3 years out?
So let me give you a perspective here.
Sure.
Well, I spoke about flooring, and I think, our emerging businesses definitely will be contributing over 30% to our businesses for sure. Like for my brands business that I talk about, they'll be doing around $100 million by 2024. $100 million will also come in from e-commerce. That is again a very important, earlier e-commerce was, an option, but now it's not an option. It is becoming an integral channel of, sales. So that definitely is also going to contribute that, that number there. And advanced textile is something that we see growing very, very strongly as well. So I, in a nutshell, I will tell you that as I talk about Welspun India, it's going to be an interesting mix of manufacturing at the back end, but an interesting mix of brands, flooring, advanced textile, which will contribute around 30% to the total top line going forward in the next couple of years.
In the next couple of years, okay. And then if I can just probe you a little bit, I understand that I'm guessing you want to position Welspun as well, and the company itself is, as you said, a home solutions company, but the lion's share of the business, manufacturing textiles, since that seems to be the hot spot, so maybe not for Welspun alone, but for the space at large, my question is, how large can this be from where it is right now based on all that the environment that you see around? And would you be adequately positioned to capitalize on that, or would you need to, say, for example, undertake capex, which you might be already doing? Because I heard you say somewhere else that you're probably looking at 200 crore capex. I don't know whether it's for manufacturing alone or something else. Can you talk a bit about that?
India is in a sweet spot, and I think all the textile companies, as you rightly said, and I think the opportunities are there for Welspun, and I think at Welspun India, we are looking at a brownfield project that is actually coming to completion, and we are investing around 600 crores in this. So definitely, and that's coming to complete. I mean, I'll say that 7% on the top line for towels has already been added. From the second quarter, it will be around 84,500 tons from this year, at least from this year. Sheets will contribute around 20% post capex, and 80% will come from rugs and carpets. And while we talk about this, there's also a capex on Welspun Advanced Textiles that has been done. That will also be coming to the spun lace that we're talking about. It will come to fruition by December. Flooring, the capex has been around. We've already invested on 1,300 crores. And another, we will be looking at, and out of that, 80% is already done, and around 200, 300 crores will be done this year. So we see that also coming to, fruition by end of this year as well. So overall, I think it's a great opportunity, but I will also say a few more things here for you. While we speak about India being at a very, interesting spot globally, cotton being a very interesting aspect, and you also touched on Xinjiang cotton. Globally, everybody is talking about transparency and the whole source of cotton, where it is coming in from. It's all about the regular cotton as well. So we might be looking at integrating far more than what we're doing in vertical integration. Could be in the, so that is a kind of an interesting aspect that we can look at as well, whether it's going to be spinning or also looking at weaving as well. So those are interesting aspects that the company is still talking and thinking about.
That would have to be inorganic in nature?
Could be. We still are thinking about it.
Okay. So, just one question. Since you're looking at so many things, including fresh capex, and I presume you're not averse to inorganic moves as well, how do you fund all of this? I mean, are you adequately funded by our cash flows itself, or would you need to raise any capital, even if it means at an opportune time?
I'll tell you one thing. The interesting is right now, a company generates a healthy, cash, free cash flow, and most of our businesses are done by internal accruals. But when there are some massive expansions will happen, we look at seeing how do we, look at getting something into, we might just look at borrowing as well. But at the moment, while we talk about what we have done so far, in the terms of our projects, it's primarily done by internal accruals.
Well, I heard internal accruals and debt. I didn't hear equity. So that's ruled out?
We will explore.
We'll explore. Okay, fair call. One last question, Ms. Goenka. I heard you say somewhere that you are, noted it down, that you are the FMCG of textiles. Did I hear you wrong? No. Can you explain that? And do you reckon that if the momentum continues, maybe not for the industry, but for you in particular, then much like what FMCG companies do, that you might see improvement in operational metrics, you might see improvement in return ratios, and shareholders could see improvement in payout ratios as well. Could all of these things happen? Can you give us some color on that?
So I'll tell you what FMCG means to us as a definition. Let me just define that for you. A portfolio of brands that we're talking about, a complete supply chain infrastructure, whether it is integrated or ancillary vendors, creating value for them, and also looking at digitalization in true sense. I think that's very, very important to us, in like integrating the global supply chains with technology. Looking at how our factories can be run far more efficiently by Industry 4.2. That's also going to be very, very important and key to what we do. And of course, I think the backbone is going to be ESG, environmental, social, and governance. I think that's going to be a very key thing, and is integral to what Welspun India will do as well. So, and we continue to do that. So definitely that's what it is going to be for us. And of course, I think fundamental is creating value for our stakeholders, whether it's our customers, it's our people, and of course, the investors as well.
So leave us, Ms. Goenka, we've done 15 minutes already. So I'm at the end of my questioning, but just if you can leave us with some sense of what you've given me piecemeal numbers of individual businesses and how they could grow, consolidated entity, because I don't have a sense of what manufacturing could do as sweet a spot as it is in. What could, say, for example, FY22, or if that's too close, what could FY23 look like from where you are right now?
Let me just close and give you a number, and I'll leave it here for you.
Sure.
2024-25, we are looking at 12,500 crores at Welspun India, CAGR of 14%, textiles growing at 10%, flooring growing at 50%, and advanced textiles growing at 25%. Is that good enough for you?
Great. That's great for everybody who's listening in this. So thanks so much for that. And I wish you all the best. Keep up the great work, and talk to you as the subsequent quarters go by.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nice connecting with you, Neeraj.